Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Badab War. If you have not checked out the Badab War, please click on the link above or below. That's going to take you to the playlist where you can learn about the Badab War from beginning to this current time. With that said, let's get into 40 Facts About the Badab War. After the Viania campaign, there was a brief lull in the constant fighting. An impasse that was unexpectedly broken by the secessionist with a remarkable proposal. Personally sending his emissaries to the Loyalist, Huron offered a temporary ceasefire and an honorable parley with the Magister Ultima in order to avoid further bloodshed between the two parties. Despite the Inquisitor's strong objections, Lord High Commander Ortiz agreed to the meeting, trusting Huron's word as a fellow chapter master to maintain the truce. Ortiz had equally promised to show his intention to remain iron in his resolve to carry out the judgment of the High Lords. The parley was arranged to take place on the abandoned way station in the orbit around the gas giant Shedem, in the outer reaches of the uninhabited Grief system. Reconstructed from damaged and recovered records, what occurred next remains a point of contention and stubborn enigma to the present day. The station was located on the asteroid mass, abandoned some centuries before, due to solar flare activity. Each party consisted of their prospective leaders and their chosen honor guard, which was deposited on the asteroid by Thunderhawks. Upon the opening of negotiations, it was readily apparent that it quickly devolved into a volatile atmosphere. Huron, who was in an impervious mood, commenced by ranting against the Maelstrom Warder's supposed contravention of imperial law. He also went into a ranting rage against his enemies and their perceived enormities and insults. Master Sartak of the Mantis Warriors was also present with Huron's party, who swiftly accused the Firehawks chapter of perpetrating wanton crimes of genocide. For his part, Varant Ortiz stood firm, reiterating the legate right of authority and the unassailable right of summons. Soon an adjournment was called for, as the talks became heated and both parties withdrew to separate compartments of the station to confer with their fellows. Matters of records regarding the following incidents become muddled and contradictory. Loyalist communication to their strike cruisers was suddenly cut off as 3 unknown vessels attacked from concealed positions deep within the thick atmosphere of the gas giant Shedem. These attackers assaulted the asteroid base before either Loyalist or Secessionist vessels could respond, taking the way station with a devastating salvo of weapon fire before boarding with a raiding party comprised of heretics, mutants, and other renegades. In the ensuing melee, the Loyalist delegation, including Lord Commander Ortiz, was killed, and several members of Huron's party, including Chapter Master Sartak of the Mantis Warriors, were also slain. During the 3-way space battle around the way station, the Red Scorpion's chief librarian, Servin Loth, valiantly launched a counterattack and recovered his fallen Chapter Master's remains. The Red Scorpions clashing with both the Raiders and Huron's Astroclaws before both sides broke free from the disintegrating asteroid base to avoid certain death. Severin Loth had saved the honor of his chapter against all odds, and in doing so, wrote an enduring legend for himself, despite the bitter blow that the Red Scorpions had suffered. During the resultant chaos, the tyrant had somehow managed his escape early on, and what hand he had in the death of Lord Commander Ortiz or even Chapter Master Sartak cannot be confirmed. In the aftermath of this incident, which became to be referred to as the betrayal at Grief, many within the Loyalist ranks blame Huron for the attack, claiming it as a rank treachery, while the secessionists lay the blame at the feet of the Inquisition as a plot to assassinate the tyrant by covert means. Inquisitor Frayne concluded that the incident may have been due to the possible intervention of third parties of maleficent design, whose wishes to benefit from the continuation of the war as the whole region descended into bloodshed and anarchy. Frayne also didn't rule out the possibility that the plot was carried out by Huron himself in order to assassinate his would-be ally Chapter Master Sartek of the Mantis Warriors. Ortis's death merely served to seal the assassination in a shroud of doubt for friends and foe alike. Evidence from that tie had been the uncovering of growing disquiet among the Mantis Warriors in their support for the secessionist cause. Committed as they were to protecting their fellow Maelstrom warders from the outside aggression and defending their sacred independence and right of the Astartes, they still saw the direct judgment of the High Lords as something not to be disregarded. Rumors concerning the rule of the Astral Claws within their own dominions had begun to circulate, and had been the cause of disquiet for some time. Sartek's death more than likely served to ensure that the Mantis Warriors' resolve, particularly if it could be laid at the feet of an enemy chapter. So much the better if the enemy would blame the Mantis Warriors for the death of their own. Now that the possibility of peace between the two opposing sides had been effectively destroyed, the war soon escalated even further, with no quarter given by the Red Scorpions or Astral Claws. Soon, secrets would be uncovered that would lend the secession as even darker. With the death of Chapter Master Ortis, the strategic initiative was temporarily delivered into the hands of the secessionists, and raids against Imperial shipping increased. For a time, the Loyalists were sorely pressed to hold what little ground they had taken in the Maelstrom Zone. The Pale Stars were all but entirely cut off, and heavy Space Marine escort forces were required in order to maintain access to the world of Galen and Kaigmara. The situation was finally eased with the arrival of contingents of the Howling Griffins, Nova Marines, and later the Sons of Medusa chapters, and the appointment of Carib Coln, the new High Lord Commander of the Red Scorpions, as the new Magister Militum of the Loyalist forces. As his chapter defined such things, Coln had grown forthright, proud, and above all, fiercely loyal to the Red Scorpions during the illustrious career. From this reason, Coln was viewed as the natural successor of Lord High Commander Verant Ortis, the chapter master of the Red Scorpions. During the Badab War, his transition to the position of Lord High Commander and Magister Militum after the death of Ortis on the World of Grief at the hands of the renegade Astral Claws was greeted with wide acclaim by his battle brothers, and most importantly, blessed by the chapter chief librarian Servin Loth, who oversaw the change of command and quelled any dissent. Coln's ascension had been contested primarily by the Firehawks chapter master, Stibor Lazarak, who demanded that he instead should be granted overall command of the Loyalist forces in the conflict due to his seniority and the long honorable service to the Imperium. As Ortis's successor, Coln was entitled to step into the mantle of his predecessor as Magister Militum and overall commander of the Loyalist forces, but this was by no means guaranteed. With the principal support of the Raptors and Salamanders chapter, as well as his own impassioned pleas in the Loyalist War Council that he had the right of vengeance and the proven mettle required to see the war to its end, Coln secured the support of the Fire Angels and Nova Marines for his command. Both the Sons of Medusa and the Marines Errant then agreed to his selection for reasons of their own. Despite some continual minor dissent, Carib Coln was acclaimed as the second Magister Militum of the Imperial Crusade to retake the Maelstrom Zone from the secessionists. Coln quickly took control of the situation and brought forward plans to convert the old way station on the largely abandoned mining world of Hollows Point into the first primary Loyalist base and staging point in the Maelstrom Zone proper. With ships and materials moving into the system with great dispatch, Vengeance Station, as it became known, was fully operational in under a standard year. The Loyalists retook the offensive initiative even before Vengeance Station was completed. Soon, a renewed phase of aggression was ready to take place, with the Red Scorpions chapter particularly eager for battle. However, their eagerness was tempered by their own new master and the wise counsel of Chief Librarian Severin Loth, who promised their battle brothers a bloody but carefully considered retribution. By the close of the year 906 of the 41st millennium, dozens of separate void actions had already been fought by Red Scorpion detachments, ranging from defending convoys to raiding outposts and intercepting secessionist shipping alongside the Raptors, turning the tide against Huron's raid for the first time. At the same time, the Loyalists were bolstered by the fresh forces from the Nova Marines and Sons of Medusa chapters, who immediately carried out probing attacks into the region of the Edimon cluster and against the edges of the Sagan system, maintaining pressure on the secessionists and keeping their forces pinned down. During this new campaign, the Loyalists garrisoned the barren Chimera system and established several outposts and listening stations in order to conduct sustained operations in the contested Gargathian system. And those were 40 facts about the Badab War. We're going to leave it there. More lore to come. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to get part 6. If you have any suggestions for other Warhammer 40K topics, please comment down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.